Hey guys, welcome back to My Favourite Tools, and this week I want to talk angle grinders. Alright, I apologise for my stuffiness. I have a terrible cold at the moment, but I'll persevere. Now, I know this might seem like an obvious one, but angle grinders are probably one of the most important tools you'll use doing any sorts of fabrication or just work around the house. They are really handy, and I often saw a lot of fabricators who had heaps of angle grinders, and I sort of wondered, why do you have so many angle grinders? Can't you just have one? And you probably can, but you'll be continually changing the heads on them for different purposes, and it really slows you down. So that is the main reason, is that you can just have a cutting wheel on one, an abrasive disc on another one. You know, I've got a wire wheel on this one, and a grinding wheel on this one. I actually just went and picked this one up this week because I needed another grinder. This is slightly larger, it being a 5-inch, and I've got myself some better quality grinding blades because I was having issues with the grinding back welds and it warping the panels. The welding of the panels actually didn't do as much warping as what the grinding did, and the bigger the disc, the coarser the grind, the quicker it takes material off and the less heat it puts into the panel. The longer you're on there, the more heat it puts in and the more likely it is to warp. So that's something that I'd forgotten about, and somebody pointed out to me, and I thought, no, I really need to do that. Another little quick hack that I have, first thing I do whenever I get a new grinder is I get the chuck for it. I get a cable tie and cable tie it to the cord. It generally means you need to unplug it to actually use it, and that's not a bad idea. And it always stays with this grinder. The amount of times in the past that I'd lost the chuck, so really important one. Well worth keeping it on the cord. It's a great spot. The blades or discs that I use with my grinder the most, generally I use these little 1mm cutting blades. I find them really good for sheet metal and doing quick cuts. Using it on some of the thicker steel plate that I have, it wears out pretty quickly and you're continually changing them, but I do like the fact that they cut a very narrow path, so they actually cut quite quickly. Next, basic grinding wheels, just a heavy-duty metal grinding wheels that I've got for this. Again, these are for the new 5-inch grinder. These poly discs, or this is called a rapid strip, this one. This sort of stuff works really well for the stripping the paint off of the bare metal of the car. Much better than these, the flat discs. The flat discs will strip the metal off, but sometimes can be a bit harsh. You can get different grits, because basically all this is just lots of little layers of sandpaper sort of laid on top of each other. So they do work quite well for some of that stuff, some really coarse stuff, but sometimes it's a little bit too harsh for the body of the car, so these are better, but they're not cheap. Yeah, and just tidying things up with the wire wheel. I try and use this as little as possible because I generally find that little bits of wire will flick off and stick into my clothing, and yeah, it's sort of not very pleasant. So might seem simple, but vitally important, and as I said, you really can't have too many grinders. So that's my favourite tool for this week. If you have any more suggestions of tools or things you'd like to see around the workshop, let me know in the description below. And as always, please like and subscribe to Home Built by Jeff. See you next time. This disgusting mess is what happens when you use a grinder without the guard on it. Tip for young players, always use the guard on the grinder or you end up with hands like this. What an idiot. It's disgusting. Ugh.